Hello everybody, how the devil are you? This is Sirhc again for another Music Sirhc Recommends. Today's band is a group called City of Souls. They're a relatively new band. They don't actually have an album yet. Their debut album's coming up, but they are a six-piece? Yeah, six-piece from Auckland, New Zealand. They are in the genre of somewhere between post-rock and post-metal. For those of you who aren't familiar with the post genres, it generally means, I guess the easiest way to describe it would be that it's like the elements outside of the genre. Whereas like a rock band is mostly about riffs and like cutting together tight, catchy choruses and stuff like that. A post band is more like ambience and the elements that are on the other side of that. Like, if you had a band that was like having tight riffs over the sort of like looser, more like, I'm trying to think of a word for it. But they're like it's almost like what you'd think like a backing band would be, like a without solos, that kind of stuff, where it's more built on bringing a sort of feeling, a sort of rhythm to it, without sort of any one part sort of saying like shine the spotlight on me, I'm the main thing kind of thing. It's like, yeah, again, sort of like a post-rock and post-metal, focuses more on the entire band than any single musician, if that makes sense. While they are a new band, they every one of the members is from another band, at least one. Some of them have up to like 3 other projects. The only one of them I'd actually heard about is a band called 8 Foot Sativa, or Sativa. I don't actually know what they sound like, but that's the one name that I was like, oh yeah, I recognize that. Musically, the first song of theirs I heard was, I believe, their 3rd single, which is called Long Gone. Incredible music video. It's really like, visually, I found it so appealing. There's like clouds and like a painted cathedral roof and stuff like that. It's absolutely gorgeous. I don't know who did the cinematography for it, but whoever did it deserves some sort of recognition because it's fantastic. The song itself, it contains lyrics like "buried in the bottle and I'm lost," and like "the dog is waiting at your door." So I'm assuming that those are fairly strong references to alcoholism. Lyrically, it's a very hopeless sound kind of song, because it doesn't sort of give you any sort of information about like, oh, this is just like the low point, but it'll rise again. It's sort of just like everything. Like the ending of the song is the chorus of the lines is "drowned in the mire of hours long gone, I am long gone." So not a particularly happy sound there, but it's the way that it's performed, the sound of the music, the impassioned vocals, maybe even a little bit of the video clip as well. It just feels like there's some sort of hopefulness inside it. Like, even though the like titular person from the song is saying that they're long gone and that kind of stuff, it feels like that they haven't given up, that there's still like some fighting to do, and it's not something that I can relate to in terms of alcoholism because I don't even drink, but there's a sort of like emotional connection that I got from listening to the song there, where the last band that I suggested was a group called Wild Throne. I described them as being very emotionally exhausting, because it felt like they sort of left everything out there in the stage in the recording. I would describe City of Souls as also an emotional band, but less in terms of like a sort of like pouring everything into it energy wise, and more of a like a finely crafting the emotional responses. The entire all of the songs that I've listened to, but mainly the first one that I heard, the Long Gone, it feels like it's not just a song. It feels like there's some sort of emotional connection. Maybe one or more of the members have struggled with alcoholism. Maybe it's about somebody that they know that went through it or is going through it. Or maybe it's purely fictional, but they just know how to really like just get into the emotional meat of that kind of situation. Overall, I think it's really something that's better to actually listen to than hear described, like all music. But if you're on the fence, you're sort of not sure, or you want some sort of like guidepost to say like what other bands sound like this, because they don't use any sort of like weird instruments. There's no like gimmicks to them. They're not like, it's not like, oh, we write songs about pirates, or like, oh, we have a violin in the middle of our rock band, or anything like that. I love bands that incorporate that kind of stuff. I love a lot of like really gimmicky bands, but not every band needs a gimmick, and these guys are a band that I don't feel need the gimmick. Their songwriting is just really strong, and their performances seem very honest. And the band that I would probably reference them to the most would be a group called Palms, which was Chino Moreno from the band Deftones on vocals, and he was backed by ex-members of ISIS, the post-metal band, not the terrorists. As far as I know, Chino Moreno has no involvement with terrorism. I might be going out on a limb here, but I'm gonna go out on that limb, and I'm gonna say that he has nothing at all to do with terrorism, at all. But again, they feel like they play a lot of they're another band that's sort of post-rock, post-metal, a lot of emotionality to the songs, and it doesn't sound the same, but it's something that I could imagine them sharing the stage together. It is set up differently. City of Souls, the vocals seem to be higher in the mix. Everything sort of feels like it's sharing equal parts, whereas Palms, there are a lot of elements where like the music propels things, and then Chino's vocals are sort of there to drive it all along. But they are very similar sorts of groups. Highly recommend Palms as well. But this video is about City of Souls, and that's who I am talking about. So I'm going to again link you a video at the end. I'm going to link the video for Long Gone, because out of the ones that I've seen, both the song and the video clip, those are my favorites, and I've just super enjoyed it. So again, let me know in the comments what you think, if you go and check them out, if you have any other bands that you like and want to tell me about, or that you want me to do a video about, or any genres or anything like that. And I'll see you next time. Ciao for now. Can you run off? Can you run off?